Hi, today my guest is Alexandra Caciur from Digitas. Hi, Alexandra.
Hi, nice to meet you and thank you for your invitation.
Thank you for coming. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and your role in Digitas.
Digitas is part of Publicis Group in Romania, and it has a very specific, let's say, action here, because it relies a lot of data on digital and innovation. So I am head of data in the business intelligence, and I'm managing the data department, data intelligence department, and also the digital experience.
Okay, and how has the behavior of Romanian consumers changed during the last years and months?
I'm really glad you're asking that, because for like 1.5 years, we are running some proprietary studies that are actually very much connected to this. We are measuring for 1.5 years what our consumers are doing, because we really like to keep up with them and inform our clients to react and be close to them. So while at the end of 2021, the main emotion that Romanians felt was happiness.
Mm-hmm.
That changed, of course, during the recent events in March 2022, where Romanians started to feel very much the fear.
Mm-hmm.
It was not just a simple fear. We called it back then, when we were doing studies, the double fear, because the first one was related to their health, just like in the COVID-19. But the second one was related to their safety, their shelter. They were afraid not to lose what they achieved for a lifetime. So it was much more serious than the fear and anxiety that we had during COVID-19. And the consumption patterns went crazy. So people started to buy a lot of medicines in case of the bomb threat. They started to buy cans of food, blankets. They started to put oil and gas to buy oil for their cars, and started to buy irrationally everything that could help them in the case of war in Romania. And I think one of the most impacted sectors was oil and gas, and the other one was retail. So we were very specifically looking into the relationship between emotions and buying patterns. And after that, after the crisis passed, the threat of war in Romania also, we noticed that the fear somehow became an anxiety or a worry. It was not so powerful anymore. Of course, that during summer, all the emotions a little bit cool down, and people become more relaxed. But right now, if I can speak for Romanian consumers right now, as of June, our last research, Romanians do not fear war anymore, but they are very much afraid of the commercial part, let's say. So everything they write in digital, of what we monitor, press, blogs, and social media, is related to prices increase, is related to the inflation, to the banking interests. So it's something that affects them in their day-to-day life, and it became more in focus than the political part that we used to talk about in March.
Okay, and in your opinion, what has the huge impact on customers' behavior?
As I said before, Romanians talk a lot about politics, about beliefs and values and concepts, but I think right now the biggest impact is given by the commercial part, the immediate stuff that are being felt in their everyday life. It's like I told, paying banks interest, going to a supermarket and paying more for the same things they used to buy. And what I see is what we saw in the research, and it had a really big impact in it has a really big impact in business, is that 94% of Romanians are postponing any kind of long-term acquisition. So they are not buying those homes that they wanted to buy. They are not buying cars anymore. And this way, a part of their budget, let's say a part of their salary, a share, is being put aside. But at the same time, they are also expanding the groceries bills, let's say. So if they don't buy that car, then they buy maybe more food, more things that they use daily. So I think right now, in terms of verticals and categories, retail is a really good category to be in because it somehow benefits of this emotional state of anxiety.
I understand. And what is digital health index? When analyzing the data, did you notice any patterns?
Yeah, digital health index is a metric. We call it a new age kind of metric because it's made to show the brand's any brand's position in its category in real time. So you can see how your brand is doing today compared to your competitors. Right now, we are customizing this digital health index for our clients, and we are monitoring day to day and giving optimizations to them. But actually, what I recommend you to consult is that we have this, let's say, open data project in which um, we are building these ranking systems for 7 verticals for 150 brands and more, in which each marketeer can see its brand position inside each category. So for example, you are going to retail, you are, I don't know, any brand, and you see how you are performing in terms of digital presence. And I have a really nice story here. We actually met some marketeers from Romania who didn't have this customized tool, but they are following the rankings that we have on our websites, and they manage their strategy by it. Regarding the patterns, it's a lot to tell because we are doing this for like 2 years, and some patterns differ from one category to another, or maybe some are related to consumers or some are related to channel mix. But what I can tell you, which was the biggest flash news, for example, in June, we saw that the biggest impact in the digital presence came from TikTok. So this is a pattern that is related to channels evolution. And if in May we had 15% of people who saw a brand in TikTok, 5% more followed in the next month. And this is a really big movement to us. Even if we knew about TikTok for like 3 years, now we started using it, brands starting using it. And it's an interesting way to enter TikTok because they didn't start in posting or creating content. They are mostly using influencers to tell stories or to, I don't know, give a very human face to the brand. And I think this is the one that got them all. And another pattern that we've seen, because we are working on the next month trends, is that the summer activity is not anymore cool down like it was in the previous summers. In the previous summers, people would go to holidays and leave a little bit the interactions on social media. Now in June to July, we have seen the biggest increase in social interactions. So the usage of social media is really high. If I were a brand, I would definitely continue during summer like in the other seasons.
Okay, based on the observed customers' behavior and brands digital health index, what do you recommend companies focus on their digital strategies? You said the summer time not to stop and just continue as normal, but any other tips do you have for us?
Yes, I think that more and more I see the most successful brands in digital health. They are building complementary communication with ads. So whenever you have a message to tell or you want to, I don't know, spread some news, you should be using ads because they have their role. But instead of just banners or short videos, together with the short videos and banners, you should also tell some stories. How to tell these stories? Well, I think the keyword is native advertising, because if you go to a blog, for example, you add an article that is related to what people are looking for. If you go to social media, I think it's good to have partnerships, sponsorships, cultural events, influencers, big or micro and nano influencers, and this is what builds towards health.
Okay, and what trends do Romanian companies have to keep an eye on at the moment?
Oh, very nice question. I think one of the biggest trends that was not yet adopted in Romania is that, let's say, flawless or seamless integration between online and offline experiences, because it's very hard to take people from, let's say, to offline or from TV to access a website or a social media account. And there are so many things so many integrations that can be done. And I think from digital experience perspective, all the marketeers and all the agencies should have innovation managers to do that, because they are also very efficient, not just nice for a case study. And from social media perspective, I think one of the biggest trends outside and soon to be also in Romania is to use these micro and nano influencers, especially on TikTok, for whatever step of the journey, but especially for driving conversion. I think it's good to build awareness, but when you create a new channel that sells, that is real value.
Okay, I understand. Thank you, Alexandra, for sharing the tips with us and with our listeners. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you also for having me.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day.